A woman who spends time alone is often misunderstood, but what most people don't realize is that solitude is her greatest weapon. While many chase distractions, noise, and constant validation, she chooses to sit with herself, and that's where her power is born. Alone time doesn't make her lonely, it makes her self-aware, confident, and untouchable. The most dangerous woman isn't the one who shouts the loudest or seeks approval. It's the one who knows herself so deeply that nothing and no one can shake her foundation. When a woman learns to be at peace in her own company, she develops strength that can't be controlled, influenced, or manipulated. Solitude builds self-awareness and inner strength in ways that people who are constantly surrounded by noise may never understand. When a woman chooses to spend time alone, she is not isolating herself from the world out of fear, but rather she is making an intentional decision to step away from the distractions and opinions that try to shape her identity. In the quiet, there is no one else telling her what she should be, how she should act, or what she should think. Instead, she is left with her own thoughts, her own voice, and her own truth. It is in this space that she begins to truly understand who she is at her core, without the weight of outside expectations pressing down on her. Alone time is not an escape from life, it is a return to herself, and that return gives her a foundation that cannot be shaken by the storms around her. Self-awareness grows strongest in solitude because it demands honesty. When a woman is alone, she cannot hide behind performances or roles that she plays for others. She is forced to look in the mirror of her own soul and confront what is there, both the light and the shadows. She learns to accept the parts of herself that she once ignored, and she discovers the strength that comes from embracing her imperfections as much as her strengths. This self-acceptance becomes the root of her confidence because it is not built on what others see in her, but on what she has discovered and claimed for herself. No compliment or insult can reach her as deeply as the truth she has come to know within. Inner strength is forged in the silence of solitude because challenges do not disappear when she is alone, but her way of facing them changes. She learns to solve problems on her own without leaning on constant reassurance. She begins to trust her instincts because she has given herself the space to listen to them. Every decision she makes in solitude strengthens her belief in her own judgment, and this creates a resilience that is hard to break. When life throws difficulties her way, she no longer panics or waits for someone else to fix them because she has already trained herself to endure, to adapt, and to overcome without depending on anyone else to carry her through. A woman who spends time alone also sharpens her clarity about what truly matters. Away from the noise of opinions, she can see more clearly what aligns with her values and what drains her energy. She learns which relationships are genuine and which are built on convenience. She recognizes which dreams are her own and which were handed to her by society's expectations. This clarity gives her direction, and with direction comes purpose. Purpose fuels her strength because it keeps her moving even when challenges arise. She is no longer pulled in every direction by the expectations of others because she knows where she is going and why she is going there. In solitude, she also learns the difference between loneliness and empowerment. Many fear being alone because they confuse it with emptiness, but a woman who understands the power of solitude realizes that it is not a void, it is a well. It is the place where she refills her energy, resets her mind, and restores her spirit. She learns that being alone is not about lacking company, but about choosing her own presence as enough. This transforms her mindset because she no longer accepts relationships, jobs, or opportunities out of desperation. She only chooses what adds value to the strength she already carries. The strength that comes from solitude is not loud, it is not dramatic, and it does not need to announce itself. It is a quiet, steady, unshakable strength that shows in how she carries herself, in the boundaries she sets, and in the way she refuses to be shaken by the opinions of others. This is the kind of strength that intimidates those who rely on control because they realize they cannot sway her with pressure, manipulation, or false promises. She knows herself too well, and she has built herself too strong for anyone to hold power over her. A woman at peace with herself is unshakable because she carries a calmness that cannot be bought, borrowed, or broken. Peace is not something handed to her by circumstances. It is something she has chosen and built within herself over time. When she spends time alone and learns who she is, she discovers the power of stillness, the kind of stillness that keeps her steady even when life becomes chaotic. While others may lose themselves in the rush of stress, arguments, and disappointments, she remains grounded because her peace does not come from what happens around her. It comes from the strength she has cultivated inside. This makes her unshakable, not because she avoids problems, but because she knows how to face them without losing herself in the process. Peace is powerful because it changes the way she responds to the world. Instead of reacting impulsively to every word, every criticism, or every situation that challenges her, she has trained herself to pause, to breathe, and to choose her response. That control is what gives her authority over her own life. She cannot be easily provoked, manipulated, or pressured because her peace has taught her that not every battle is worth fighting and not every voice deserves her attention. This kind of discipline keeps her from wasting her energy on distractions and drama, and it allows her to focus on what truly matters. The ability to hold on to peace when everything else seems uncertain is what makes her stand out, because very few people can master themselves at that level. A woman who has found peace within herself also becomes immune to the constant pull of validation from others. She no longer needs approval to feel secure because her security does not come from the outside. It comes from knowing her own worth. She can walk away from situations that do not honor her without fear of being alone. She can say no without guilt because she knows her boundaries are a reflection of her self-respect. She can choose silence over explanation because her peace has taught her that not everyone deserves access to her thoughts or emotions. This ability to live without needing constant reassurance makes her unshakable because she cannot be easily swayed by opinions, gossip, or criticism. Her foundation is too strong for shallow judgments to break. Peace also gives her clarity about her path. When her mind is not cluttered with noise, she sees her goals and her future more clearly. She is not chasing distractions or following the crowd. She is walking her own path with intention. This direction keeps her steady because she is not pulled in 100 directions by what others expect of her. She knows who she is, she knows what she values, and she knows what she will and will not accept. That kind of clarity makes her dangerous in the best way because she cannot be lured into situations that compromise her standards. She knows the cost of her peace, and she refuses to give it up for temporary gains. Her peace also changes the way she handles relationships. Instead of attaching herself out of need, she chooses connections from a place of fullness. She does not enter relationships looking for someone to complete her, because she is already complete within herself. This independence makes her a stronger partner, friend, and leader because she gives from a place of abundance, not desperation. And if a relationship ever threatens her peace, she is not afraid to walk away, no matter how much it hurts. That decision does not come from coldness, but from wisdom, because she understands that protecting her peace is protecting her strength. The unshakable nature of a woman at peace is not loud or attention-seeking, but it is deeply felt by everyone around her. People notice the way she carries herself, the way she does not crumble under pressure, and the way she does not lose herself to negativity. Her presence becomes a reminder that real power is not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. This mastery is why she cannot be broken easily, because she has already built herself from within, brick by brick, in silence, in solitude, and in strength. Independence makes her untouchable and powerful because when a woman learns to stand on her own, she discovers a strength that cannot be taken away from her. She no longer depends on anyone else to define her value or to provide her with security because she has built those things for herself. This independence does not mean she shuts people out or refuses love. It means she does not need anyone to survive, and that alone makes her impossible to control. A woman who is independent has already faced the fear of being alone. She has already proven to herself that she can carry her own weight, and because of that, she cannot be held hostage by fear, by manipulation, or by dependency. Independence makes her powerful because her choices come from strength, not from need. When a woman embraces her independence, she stops chasing approval and starts chasing purpose. She understands that her happiness does not come from being chosen by someone else, but from choosing herself first. This shift in mindset changes everything about how she lives. She no longer accepts crumbs of attention or half-hearted commitments because she knows she is capable of creating a fulfilling life on her own. She works for her goals, she builds her future, and she pours into her own growth, and that makes her magnetic. People sense her confidence and her self-respect, and that alone sets her apart from those who are still waiting for someone else to complete them. Independence draws respect because it shows discipline and courage, and it makes her untouchable because no one can use her neediness against her. Her independence also frees her to make choices without fear of losing something or someone. She does not stay in relationships out of obligation or stay in situations that drain her out of fear of being alone. Instead, she chooses what adds value to her life, and she leaves what does not. This kind of freedom gives her control over her destiny. She does not feel stuck because she knows she always has the power to start over, to walk away, or to rebuild. That control makes her dangerous in the best way because it means she cannot be trapped. Others may try to guilt her, pressure her, or limit her, but she knows her independence gives her the ability to walk away with her head held high. A woman who has embraced independence also carries herself differently. She no longer begs for attention because she does not crave validation to feel worthy. She does not compromise her values just to fit in because she has built a life that does not depend on approval. She does not settle for less because she knows she can create more. Her energy changes when she is independent, and that energy speaks louder than words. People notice the way she moves with confidence, the way she holds boundaries without apology, and the way she refuses to be controlled by fear of loss. That strength makes her untouchable because it becomes clear that she is whole on her own, and no one has the power to break what she has built for herself. Her independence also inspires others. People around her begin to see that they too can stand strong without leaning on false security. Her example shows that independence is not about coldness or isolation, but about building a foundation so strong that everything else she chooses to add becomes a bonus, not a necessity. When she chooses to love, she does it from abundance, not from lack. When she chooses friendships, she chooses quality, not desperation. When she pursues goals, she does it with confidence, not hesitation. Independence gives her freedom to live authentically, and that authenticity is what makes her powerful. The power of her independence cannot be taken away because it is something she has earned through self-discipline, courage, and patience. It is not built on shaky ground. It is built on experiences, on challenges she has overcome, and on the trust she has developed in herself. That is why she is untouchable, because her foundation is not in the hands of anyone else. She has built it, she has owned it, and she protects it with everything she has. Alone time sharpens clarity and confidence because when a woman chooses to step away from the noise of the world, she begins to hear her own voice with greater precision. The constant influence of other people's opinions, expectations, and demands often clouds her perspective. But solitude strips all of that away. In the quiet, she can reflect without distraction, and reflection becomes the tool that sharpens her clarity. She begins to see her life with fresh eyes, noticing patterns she missed before, recognizing what is draining her energy, and identifying what is truly worth her time. This clarity becomes her compass, and with every moment spent alone, it grows sharper and stronger, guiding her toward decisions that align with her values instead of the pressures of society. When her mind is clear, her confidence follows, because she no longer second guesses herself as easily. She has given herself the space to analyze her thoughts and to trust her instincts. Confidence is not about pretending to be sure, it is about actually knowing where you stand, and solitude gives her that certainty. She begins to make choices with conviction, not hesitation, because she has already had the private conversations with herself that confirm what she wants and what she refuses to accept. That kind of confidence is unshakable because it does not come from rehearsed words or external approval. It comes from a deep understanding of who she is and where she is going. Spending time alone also allows her to silence the chaos of comparison. In a world where everyone is showing their highlight reels, it is easy to fall into the trap of measuring worth against others, but solitude pulls her out of that cycle. She stops looking sideways and starts looking inward. She learns to measure progress against her own past self, not against someone else's path. This sharpens her clarity about what success really means to her, and once she has defined that for herself, no one can convince her that she is behind, unworthy, or lacking. She has carved out her own definition of fulfillment, and that alone strengthens her confidence because she is no longer running a race that was never hers to begin with. Clarity also gives her the courage to set boundaries. Alone time teaches her to recognize what disturbs her peace and what adds to it. She becomes more selective with the people she allows into her space, more protective of her time, and more intentional with her energy. This awareness allows her to say no without guilt, to walk away without hesitation, and to stand firm without fear. Every boundary she sets reinforces her confidence because she is no longer acting out of obligation, but out of alignment with her values. And when a woman lives in alignment with her values, her confidence radiates naturally because she knows she is living authentically. Confidence built in solitude is also steady because it is tested in silence, not in performance. She does not need an audience to feel powerful because she has already stood tall in the presence of her own doubts and insecurities. She has faced herself without distractions and learned that she is strong enough to carry her own weight. That inner battle, fought and won in silence, is what gives her the calm assurance that she can face the challenges of the world without falling apart. Others may see her confidence as sudden or unexplainable, but it is the product of countless quiet moments where she chose to believe in herself when no one was watching. The sharpening of clarity and confidence in solitude also prepares her for opportunities. She is able to recognize doors that are meant for her and avoid distractions disguised as blessings. She sees through manipulation more quickly, she identifies her priorities more clearly, and she pursues her goals with precision. Because her mind is uncluttered, she can focus her energy on what matters most, and that focus allows her to make progress that others struggle to achieve. Her confidence allows her to walk through opportunities without hesitation because she knows she has prepared herself in silence long before the moment arrived. This combination of clarity and confidence becomes her armor and her crown. It protects her from being swayed by doubt and empowers her to lead her own life without apology. Every hour she invests in being alone with her thoughts becomes an investment in becoming sharper, stronger, and more certain of herself, and that certainty radiates in every choice she makes, every boundary she sets, and every step she takes toward her future. The most dangerous woman is the one who doesn't need validation because she has reached a level of strength and self-awareness that frees her from the trap of constantly seeking approval from others. When a woman no longer looks outward for permission to exist, to speak, to succeed, or to take up space, she becomes unstoppable. She is no longer shaped by the opinions of those around her because her sense of worth is not tied to what people think of her. Validation is powerful because it controls so many. But when she removes that need from her life, she takes back full control of her choices and her direction. She can walk into a room without shrinking, speak her truth without hesitation, and pursue her dreams without waiting for anyone else to agree, and that makes her untouchable in ways that intimidate those who try to control her. A woman who does not need validation becomes fearless in her decisions. She no longer wastes time overthinking whether people will approve of her choices, whether society will accept her, or whether others will misunderstand her. Instead, she acts with conviction because she trusts herself. That kind of fearlessness is dangerous to anyone who depends on doubt to keep her small. She does not wait for applause before taking action, nor does she crumble under criticism. Applause and criticism lose their power over her because she has chosen to live for something greater than the shifting voices around her. Her focus is on her own values, her own growth, and her own peace, and because of that, no one can hold her back with judgment or rejection. When a woman no longer seeks validation, her relationships also change. She does not cling to people out of desperation, nor does she tolerate mistreatment in exchange for approval. She knows that love, respect, and loyalty are not things that should be begged for. They are things that should be freely given. This awareness makes her set higher standards, and it gives her the strength to walk away from anyone who cannot meet them. Her independence in relationships makes her dangerous because she cannot be manipulated with silence, attention, or affection. She does not chase, she does not beg, and she does not settle because her self-worth is already intact without anyone's approval. Her lack of need for validation also gives her a freedom that others envy. She is not trapped by the desire to please everyone, and she is not imprisoned by the fear of disappointing people. She understands that no matter what she does, someone will always have an opinion, so she chooses to live authentically instead of performing. This authenticity draws respect even from those who may not agree with her, because people recognize the power of someone who stands firm in who they are without wavering. Her authenticity also inspires others because it shows them that it is possible to live without constantly bending to the expectations of the world. Confidence rooted in self-validation allows her to take risks that others are too afraid to take. She can pursue dreams that seem impossible because she is not worried about whether others believe in them. She can make bold moves in her career, her life, or her passions because she is not afraid of being judged if she fails. She understands that failure is only part of growth, and because she is not performing for approval, failure does not define her. This resilience makes her powerful because she keeps moving forward while others get stuck waiting for permission to start. The most dangerous thing about a woman who does not need validation is her ability to thrive in silence. She does not need recognition to know her worth, and she does not need attention to feel valued. She is content with her own company, confident in her own choices, and secure in her own identity. That security makes her dangerous to systems, people, and patterns that rely on control through approval. She cannot be bought with compliments. She cannot be silenced with criticism, and she cannot be swayed by opinions. Her life is her own, her choices are her own, and her worth is hers alone to define.